Our assignment in adult learning theory was to collaborate with other students and develop a multimedia presentation on theoretical perspective. Our Pechacucha-style presentation is on cognitive learning theory. Our team consists of Angie Christie, Stacy Foreman, and Danielle Martin. We divided the research roles, each put together our respective slides, and elected one to perform the voiceover. We selected Screencast-O-Matic for the screencast. The cognitive learning theory focuses on how people mentally process information they take in from their environment, how they interpret it based on stimuli around them, how they store this information into memory, and how they later retrieve it when needed. The theory can be divided into two specific theories, social cognitive theory and cognitive behavioral theory. Social cognitive learning states that knowledge acquisition can be directly related to observing others within the context of social interactions, experiences, and outside media influences. There are four cognitive processes that encompass this theory: self-evaluation, self-observation, self-reaction, and self-efficacy. This theory states that individuals tend to form self-concepts that affect the behavior they display. These concepts can be positive or negative and can be affected by a person's environment. Jean Piaget is a Swiss psychologist who pioneered the theory of cognitive development. It focuses on the natural evolution of human intelligence. He believed in 4 stages of cognitive development and that age drives the movement from one stage to another. He also proposes that not all adults reach the final stage, abstract thinking. Lev Vygotsky, a Soviet psychologist, is a pioneer on what is now known as the social development theory. He believed that community and social interaction plays an integral role in cognitive development. He coined the phrase, the zone of proximal development. This describes the difference between what a child can achieve independently versus what they can achieve with the guidance from an adult. Jerome Bruner, American psychologist, was a leader in the cognitive revolution. He proposed 3 modes in cognitive growth: the inactive stage, which is action-based; iconic stage, image-based; symbolic stage, language-based. He created the term spiral curriculum, the belief that complex ideas can be taught at any age of development if presented in the correct way. Robert Gagne, American psychologist theory, includes 9 events of instruction. These events establish essential conditions for learning and form the basis for instructional design and selection of instructional media. Instructional designers utilize these 9 events to form the outline of most online courses that we know of today. Piaget believed that cognitive development is universal and must precede learning. Vygotsky, however, argued that learning precedes development and emphasized that culture, language, and the role adults play all affect cognitive growth. He also believed that our development is enhanced when confronted with new tasks that are just out of reach of our present abilities with the proper instruction. Bruner and Vygotsky both see the importance of social learning and that other people should help children through scaffolding, the breaking up of information into chunks, and then providing instruction with each chunk. Bruner felt that children learn best through active participation, while Vygotsky believed that teachers should never leave too much for them to do on their own. The elements that make up the cognitive learning theory are stimulus and response and knowing. Social learning, which concludes that people learn from one another via observation, imitation, and modeling. The theory often has been called a bridge between the behavioralist and cognitive learning theories because it encompasses attention, memory, and motivation. Robert Gagne created these 9 events of instruction, which include gain attention, orient the learner, recall of prior knowledge, present content material, provide learner guidance, elicit performance, provide feedback and assessment, and enhance retention. These events are the foundation of instructional learning. Cognitive learning theory, when applied to an e-learning strategy, imposes self-regulation and increased content retention. The way in which learners acquire knowledge is similar to that of a traditional classroom. E-learning platforms provide learners with opportunities to borrow from a larger pool of knowledge and experience. Examples include virtual tours or blogs. Teaching learners how to study is almost as important as instructional time allocated to content acquisition. Instructors can implement study systems to support cognitive learning. Learners who survey, question, read, recite, and review content and materials are better equipped to successfully recall and apply knowledge. SOAR aids learners in encoding knowledge, information, and experiences, and transfer long-term to memory. The SQ3R and SOAR methods energize the learning process by allowing learners to read with better comprehension and remember more over a period of time. To apply this theory to corporate training, specifically the restaurant industry, one has to consider how servers are trained. Typically, new hires follow servers that are more experienced. Through live modeling, new hires learn service standards. This learning action-oriented strategy creates an environment wherein learners process, and apply newly acquired skills. People learn the big picture by making connections between perception and reality. In both classrooms and the workplace, learners must demonstrate work-based proficiencies and academic achievement. To do so, learners must become experts at decoding and encoding content. Fostering peer-to-peer learning, social learning, and multi-device learning improve cognitive learning, working memory, and long-term memory. Piaget, Vygotsky, Bruner, and Gagne are forefathers of cognitive learning theory. The theory focuses on how people mentally process information they take in from their environment, how they interpret it based on stimuli around them, how they store this information into memory, and how they later retrieve it when needed. The following are the references we use to research cognitive learning theory and put together this multimedia presentation in the Pechakucha style. We hope you enjoyed our presentation.